Hello and welcome to My Pagan Pathworks. My name is Lisa and I am the founder of the channel, and if you are new to the channel, I am so glad you're here. I welcome you and I invite you to like and subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. So with that out of the way, I have my topic today is going to be personal growth even when you're being defiant. And it is I do have a written blog on this topic in my website, which is www.mypaganpathwork.com. So if you'd rather read about it, check out my blog. If not, I hope you stay tuned to the channel to talk about this personal growth. Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about personal growth even in the face of defiance. And so if you have been following my channel, you know that I have gone through a little mini dark night of the soul. I discovered that there were trolls on my Facebook page that made it look like I was growing exponentially when actually I'm not really sure why they were there. It's a little odd and I'm not really sure about it, but there you go. And then since then, there's been, several turns of events that have really, really made me, I guess, very angry, and the most of it directed at myself. So that's the short version of the situation. So now I'm going to talk about how it helped me to grow. So many, many moons ago, long time ago, I got a divorce for the very first time, and that was one of the more difficult passages in my journey, and it helped me to grow a whole lot. And part of the fallout from that divorce on the good side of the spectrum was that I made a vow that I would work really hard and I would get independent, so I did not rely on another man for my support or my happiness, because at that point in time my ex-husband was kind of unstable and child support was not a constant thing, so it was up to me to take care of myself and my 3 children. So now we're going to fast forward now. I am almost 53 years old. I will be 53 in October. And I can tell you that somehow along my path I really lost sight of that, and I made some decisions that have put me into a position where I am very dependent on another human being for help. Even though I swore this is someplace that I would never be, I guess the fact that it's my parents that I'm kind of dependent on kind of muddied the issue. And then, of course, I really had a very false sense of security with having the 401k money in my account. Well, now that 401k money is gone and reality is setting in, and so I really had some things trigger me this week. And so my mom has a brand new car. Her car died and she traded it in for a brand new car. And my son had a Social Security appointment this week, and I needed to go pick him up for that. So I asked my mother if I could borrow her brand new car to go get my son from Oklahoma, where he's staying with his dad right now. And her reaction was, yeah, I guess I don't mind as long as there's nothing else going on. Well, for her, she's like, well, I said yes, but in my mind, what I heard was, I don't really want you to borrow it, but I'm going to let you because your car doesn't work good. So what I heard in my mind and the way she said it were kind of two different things in reality, but it triggered in me a really negative response, and I left out of the house and I was gone for a long time, and I wouldn't answer the phone and I wouldn't talk to her back, and so it really triggered some really really negative emotions in the house. But it also triggered in me a long overdue response about my own sense of independence. Um, I am back someplace where I swore I would never be. And I was more angry at myself for getting here, but I took it out on my mother and on the universe and on deity and spirit, and I'm like, you guys were supposed to have my back, and look where I'm at. And it's like, but wait a minute, it was my choices that got me here, not theirs. And so, but I took it out on my mother primarily. I mean, her answer triggered that response, and but at the same time, on the lighter side of this situation, it created in me a new drive to get my independence back and to change my personal dialogue to, I will never be dependent on another human soul for what I need for myself. I will be able to provide more for myself even against all odds. I will not let myself get back here ever again. If I can get myself and win, then I need to change my dialogue from if I ever get myself out of this hole to when I get myself out of this hole. It has to be a matter of when I get myself out of this hole, I will never let myself get back here again. And she didn't intentionally hurt my feelings, but it struck home a really important, something really important for me, and that's, I've always prided myself on my independence and my ability to take care of myself since I got a divorce the first time, and somehow I've let myself lose that. And so now I'm facing an uphill battle to get that back. So in my efforts to try to get that back, I have been, applying for jobs so I can go to work full time again in an office. And so part of the reason why I was kind of mad at the universe, or more specifically, I was upset because I felt like the Morgan was asking me to deal with something that I was not prepared to deal with, and I do not like confrontation. I never have. It causes me a buttload of anxiety, so I just would rather not deal with that. And when I was called in for the interview, the first interview I've had in a very long time, it was with a company where it would put me in a situation where I have to deal with confrontation again. And I'm like, really? What the hell? So it really kind of set me off again. Well, that happened first. So that was the first thing that happened that really set me off. Um, and then the incident with the car was another thing. And so it's been a really rough time. And in the middle of that, I'm like, well, screw you, universe. Screw you, Morgan. Screw you, spirit guides. I don't want your help or need your help, and a lot. And it was more, I'm going to reopen my jewelry business, and I'm going to do what I want to do, and screw you people, because you're not helping me anyway. And that was my mindset of as approaching this. And then, today it I got, pardon me, I got a really another message that kind of helped me understand my own behavior. And it's like, it's okay for me to tell the Morgan, this is not something I'm ready to deal with. I don't know that I'll ever be ready to deal with. And it's okay to tell the Morgan that it she she expects a great deal from the people she calls into her service. And personal growth is one of those things. And it was like, all right, if you're not ready to deal with confrontation, then let me just tell you this. And that one of the things that I'm very guilty of is something called withholding. And I suppose it's a psychological term that it basically means that I withhold myself away from the people that I love when I don't get my way, or I don't get what I want, or what have you. And it, and it's basically, I mean, it's a way of psychological manipulation. And so the Webster's definition is a refusal to give something that is due or desired, or not expressing affection or warmth or feeling. And so when you put it in that terms, I not only do this in sometimes in my own relationships, especially when I'm dealing with my mom, because when I get upset at her, instead of just answering and saying, I just need some space, let me be, then I just completely shut her off and go away and not answer. And then it upsets her even more when I do that. So I know that I not only do that in my human relationships, I also do that with my relationships with Morgan, and with the universe, and with my spiritual practice. I mean, I just flat stopped everything. I haven't meditated. I haven't lit a candle. I haven't done an offering. I mean, just nothing. It's just, and it, and all of those anger and that negative emotions and all that stuff, I'm just like, screw it. I'm not doing nothing. And and that is a form of withholding, and it's like an emotional blackmail. I mean, in it's just it's a sign of spiritual and mental immaturity on my part. And it was something that she wanted me to deal with and address, because when you're in a relationship with deity, and you're in a relationship with anybody really, that kind of withholding is very detrimental to the relationship, and it's detrimental to me on a psychological level too. I mean, it's very unhealthy, and it's very immature, and it goes hand in hand, because the universe can only bless you with what you're mentally able to handle. It, or it can only bless you with where your maturity level is. And I believe the more mature you are, the higher your vibration is, on a spiritual level. And the higher your vibration is, the more the universe can bless you. So for me, to still be doing that withholding type pattern is it really brings my vibrational level down. Like the vibration that I'm putting out right now, the universe can only bless me with extra hours at my current job, versus the real cream of the crop, which is a 40-hour job that pays better and has benefits and set hours, which is the thing that I really, really want. Um, so I have to be able to let go of that kind of behavior, and even when I'm angry at the universe, or even when I'm angry at the Morrigan, to still show respects. And even when I'm angry at my mother, still show enough respect to tell her, I just need some space right now. Please give me some time. And 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 it translates to my other relationships as well. But my relationship with my mom right now is the one that feels the most impact, because um, we live in the same house, and she relies on me for a lot, and so it puts a real strain, and it puts some really negative energy in the house when things like this happen. So it's really important for me to recognize it in order to change it, because it's learned behavior. It is not innate to my personality or to my personal being. It's just the way I have learned over the years to deal with conflict. It's just to withhold myself. Like, if you're not going to give me what I want, then I'm just not going to give you the time of day. And so and it's just learned behavior, and it can be changed. All learned behavior can be changed. It's not something innate to me, like the color of my eyes or the color of my hair. It's 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 something learned that I can undo. And as long as we are conscious of the behavior, then it's easy. When it's brought to our attention, then it's easier to change. And so this is the major lesson that came out of all of this conflict this time, was that, you know, don't be guilty of withholding. Don't withhold yourself from deity. Don't withhold yourself from spirit. Don't withhold yourself from the world or from your relationships just because you're angry or you're not getting what you want. You still need to be open to all. You still need to honor deity. You still need to honor your spiritual practice in some way, shape, or form. That's why it's called a practice, is because it's something that you do on a continual basis. And when you withhold yourself from your practice, you really hurt yourself more than anything else, because you can't receive your blessing if you're holding yourself back from it. And sometimes it becomes more dangerous than the block you think you're trying to combat. And I know this because it's something I've struggled with for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, you know, I feel like I've hit a brick wall, and I I don't know a way around the wall, and I'm thinking, well, if I'm gonna just be poor all of my life, what the hell difference does it make what I do? So, and there's a danger in that thinking, because it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's important for me as an individual, and for everyone as individuals, not to withhold ourselves when we are struggling spiritually and mentally, because we can't possibly receive the answers that we're looking for if we're not listening. And if we're not listening, if we're withholding ourselves and we're not listening, it just makes the situation worse. So I wanted to come on today and just give you my perspective on what's happening, and just share with you some of my experiences, because I think it's really important to share these things with you as they happen. It's been a journey for me. I have been called to be a green witch, and I have been out in the garden a lot trying to maintain it, and I've been outside a lot. But these little commentaries are still very important. So if you've made it this far, thank you so very much for watching. I am so very glad that you stayed with me, and that you've come to visit me today. I hope you will join me for the next video, which should be another garden update on Saturday. Anyway, I invite you to like and subscribe, and thank you so very much for watching.